What's up, everybody? Armchair Quarterbacks here for your Week 9 recaps. This one, we've got 1-2 third rounders plus Rams versus Cut My Team Into Pieces. That's Johnson's team losing with 80.84 points to Daniel's winning team of 91.42 points. All right, so let's take a look over here at Johnson's team really quick. He started Derek Carr, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, Antonio Gibson, Raheem Mostert, Gerald Everett, Chris Godwin, and DeAndre Hopkins. What did you see here with Johnson's team? What did you like? What didn't you like?
Let's see. Derek Carr looked pretty decent going up against Chicago. He looks pretty healthy now. It's going to eat up into his ceiling, having Taysom Hill lately.
Yeah.
I got some of those red zone looks. Maybe look for a different QB here just for upside.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Brown continues to impress. Pretty quiet for him here with 66 receiving yards. Granted, that's with 7 receptions. So
yeah, I think only 66 receiving yards. That's a little bit of being spoiled from the past 5-6 weeks. 100 plus yards
plus.
Yeah. Also, it was against Dallas, a very tough defense.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. He did play Garrett Wilson here. Forgot to look at this one. That's pretty decent here. 7 receptions.
Yep.
So 80 receiving. He has that one fumble. What was that -2 in our league?
Mm-hmm.
So
there
11 points. That's pretty solid.
There were a couple of plays. You weren't watching the game. But there were a couple of plays where Garrett Wilson, he had, I think it was 1 or 2 targets that just ended up being dropped passes, something that on him he should have caught. And they were for maybe 5 to 10 yards, something out there. But if he had caught those passes, what's to say he couldn't have heated up and maybe gone into the end zone. So,
well, I mean, if you're saying even, say 3 of those,
yeah,
we're looking at another, 15 yards and 1.5. You're looking at 3 points there. Pretty solid. Looking at his target share here, he has 13 targets, which is pretty legit.
Yep.
So pretty nice here. Not bad.
Yeah.
Look down. So the 2 players I traded, we were just talking about this off air. Mostert here goes with another touchdown, 14 points. And then looking at the bench with Tank Dell, 27. So looks like he's won that trade so far. Not bad. Gerald Everett, this one's, let's see, who else does he have? He doesn't have another tight end right now.
No, I told him last week that he should probably drop Gerald Everett and pick up a different tight end. Especially because this year, Justin Herbert, and it started to build last year too. Justin Herbert seems to be building pretty decent rapport with what's his name, Parham. So I still think Johnson should try to trade for a different tight end. I was trying to see if I could trade him Goddard, but that's not going to happen now with Goddard being on IR. So,
right. Let's see. Yeah, another interesting thing here. Let's see. So Godwin, man, that's so weird too. This was such a high-scoring game. That one's really weird. But I don't even think Mike Evans really went off or anything crazy.
No, I think Baker spread the ball around in this one a lot. I know I saw Godwin with these 2 catches. I saw Mike Evans. I know I saw Cade Otton. I think he got into the end zone.
It was actually Rachaad White. I believe he had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
He was getting receiving work, so he was pretty solid. Let me see. I'm looking for.
While Sean's looking for that, Johnson, let me speak to you here really quick. Cade Otton might be a pretty decent or interesting play here. Going up against Tennessee next week. Baker Mayfield does tend to throw to the tight end when the play breaks down, besides throwing to Rashad White. So it might be a name you might want to look at.
Yeah, he has Tyler Lockett here. Hopkins has looked pretty decent, especially with Will Levis.
Yep.
He'll be able
targets.
to get his.
Wow.
Yeah, he'll be able to get Etienne back. Gabe Davis with a big goose egg right here on the bench. That one's kind of.
At least it's on the bench.
He's had about a couple games here. It looks like what's his name? What the frick's his name, dude? Freaking Ethno boy. There's that other wide receiver that they're going to on Buffalo.
Oh, Khalil Shakir.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah.
There you go. Talamahala. And then Jackson Smith and Jigba. Looks pretty decent.
Yeah, 7 targets. I talked about it with when I was talking about my boy Ken Walker. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, they've been a little bit banged up. So that's resulted in JSN getting a little bit more usage here. The only thing really is just consistency. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, if they get healthy, is JSN going to stay keep consistent with the usage? You know, has he done enough for Pete Carroll to try to utilize him more?
Well, I would even say that I know you said they're injuries, but I don't think I think Lockett and DK. I don't think it's so bad that it would really.
No, it's not anything crazy because they've obviously been playing. It's just like nagging injuries, you know.
I think it's just overall offense, you know. Geno Smith not playing like last season.
It's definitely overall offense is not good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move on over here to Daniel's team. Daniel's team started Joe Burrow, Chris Olave, Cooper Kupp, Devin Singletary, Saquon Barkley, Jake Ferguson, Tony Pollard, and James Cook. What did you like here with Daniel's team?
Two main takeaways here, I'd say. Joe Burrow looks like he's pretty healthy. I know he still had the heat warmer or the heat pad on his calf.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hopefully, eventually, when we don't see that anymore, I would have more confidence. You know, that's not something I want to see continually. I want to see him be more comfortable without it.
Agreed.
But he's looking pretty good because he's able to move in the pocket and out the pocket.
Yeah.
They showed a couple close-ups of him and his footwork. So he's looking a little bit more like his old self, which in turn is a huge deal for the offense in general. We saw Joe Mixon score a touchdown. He looked pretty decent. They moved the ball really well down the field, especially in the first quarter. And you had Jamar Chase, Irv Smith, Irv Smith Jr. with the touchdown. And then my boy T. Higgins got a lot of work considering his, how long he's been out.
Yeah.
Just an interesting fact. I'm not sure. I don't know if you saw anything today, any update on Jamar Chase, but could be a little bit of a big deal if if Jamar Chase has to miss some time.
I didn't see anything, but I could look it up. Let's see.
So from what I know is, I forget if it was his back. He got hurt. What's his name? Zach Taylor said that Jamar Chase was just going to be sore. But then I saw another post saying that some beat reporters were speaking with Jamar Chase, and he sounded a little bit more pessimistic about it, kind of saying he wasn't sure yet of anything. So
yeah, on Yahoo right now, the latest news from RotoWire, he's labeled day-to-day.
Mm-hmm. So it'll just
it's
be
still
interesting.
just saying soreness.
That's something to keep an eye on. just in case, I believe it was Michelle that had Tyler Boyd, so Tyler Boyd's shares go up a little bit on that.
Yep. Yeah, he got some
let's
pretty
move-
decent usage.
So I'll just go on here. Chris Olave, he scores a touchdown, but it still kind of looks iffy with Derek Carr, considering Alvin Kamara is getting receiving work, and then Taysom Hill's eating into, some of the touchdown equity and red zone equity here. So Chris Olave gets saved with the touchdown deodorant, but realistically, you still, he has 7.5 points without the touchdown.
Yeah.
Looking here at Cooper Kupp, we mentioned it. I believe it was it off air or in the last video that Cooper Kupp, man, he not looking good. Just like your Puka Nacua, just like my shares of any of the running backs there at LA, especially without Stafford. So
yeah, we were talking about that when we were talking about my Puka. A majority of that is due to Stafford being injured, out for this game, and not playing very well the last game. But also it's also a byproduct of the offensive line not really being able to protect the quarterback and give the quarterback some time to make a play.
Go down here, Saquon Barkley. And this entire Giants team is just a mess. Just injuries and whatnot. It's interesting because the Bills don't look that, the Bills don't look as good offensively as last season, the past couple of seasons. And I was telling my coworker that Brian Dable was the offensive coordinator there, and then got the head coaching job at New York with the Giants.
Right.
It'll be interesting if he gets fired here, and the offense looking the way it is with the Bills. It'd be interesting to see if they give a little call to Brian Dable. I don't know how that will go with the new offensive coordinator, but it's just interesting, to see that it does look different. Like the Bills, I know they have injuries on defense. So we know what Brian Dable could do with talent, but now all he has is Barkley. He has no wide receivers. Darren Waller is out IR, perhaps maybe this season. You have Tyrod Taylor is on. Daniel Jones tore his ACL. They confirmed that today.
Yep.
You have Tyrod Taylor that they just put on IR. So now you're looking at the backup practice squad dude with who's it the footballers were saying? Danny DeVito over here. You have DeVito. Does not look good at all. So any other leagues, fire up your defense, your DST against the Giants.
What do you do with Barkley?
The interesting thing, I was listening to a couple podcasts, and they're giving him, at least the past couple games, they're giving him everything, 30 plus touches. And I believe it was Adam Azer, CBS guys, they're having a little debate. Do they shut down Barkley for his health? Believe his contract's up this year.
I think shutting him down might be the best option, at least longevity wise for the player. I don't know. I don't know if you saw the game on Sunday though. He took a hit pretty hard, and he looked like he got the wind knocked out of him. But he was on the sideline. He was. They had the medical trainers around him. He couldn't breathe. He was having a hard time taking deep breaths. It's rough going for Saquon Barkley.
Well, they could shut him down. They could also just run him into the ground if they don't plan on signing him.
Yeah, they could do that.
So, I don't know. This is one of those tough ones where it could go either way. One of the reasons why I've never drafted Barkley is, he has that pretty consistent history now of high ankle sprains.
Yeah.
Specifically. And in this offense that's already not good, doesn't have a good offensive line, it's tough sledding here. He gets all the work. But this was against Vegas.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll point out a few more things as we've gone on kind of long here. Um, Looking at his tight end here, he has Jake Ferguson, which is really solid. Ferguson, it feels like, has been playing better as of late.
Yep.
Even than better than Pollard.
Yep.
Which is really interesting. But he also has George Kittle on his bench coming back from bye. So what do you do there? They've both already had their buys. It feels like it might be a waste of a bench spot here if you needed some other, pickups.
That's a tough one for me. I think personally, if I were in Daniel's shoes here, I would probably look to ride the hot hand with Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
Looking at the Cowboys' schedule coming up. First of all, they're out of their bye week. And George Kittle would be out of his bye week after this week as well. But Dak Prescott, he's got a pretty solid schedule coming up. There's not really any tough schedule for him. So if there's no tough schedule for the quarterback, that's going to correlate to the wide receivers and the tight ends, the pass catchers. Even if they have a tough schedule, at least Dak's going to be able to target them and get them the ball.
Yeah. So I would say, because I was bringing up the tight end specifically, Daniel could look to package one of these, whether it was Jake Ferguson or George Kittle. George Kittle feels more like the boomer bust, especially because of how good the offense is in San Fran. So I'd probably package Kittle, maybe. Even Pollard. I mean, Pollard is kind of, I believe we have, one more week left or 2 more weeks for our trade deadline.
Yeah. Trade deadline is on the 18th, so
the 18th,
a week
so
from this coming Saturday. We have this week and next week left.
Yeah, so 2 weeks, right? Or okay, yeah. So
just under 2 weeks.
Not this coming Sunday. Yeah. So 2 Sundays from now.
Saturdays.
Is that 2 Sundays or 2 Saturdays from now? So I mean, Pollard has a pretty tough playoff schedule if you're looking that far ahead.
Yep.
But also it kind of limits upside. I mean, you just take it with a grain of salt. With tight end here, you could play both guys. But if Cooper Kupp is going to be hit or miss, if Olave, maybe he's looking for either a wide receiver here, or with Barkley and Pollard kind of looking not safe, you bolster that.
Yeah, he could also try to sell high on Ferguson if anybody's looking to bolster up their tight end position. Could try doing that if he's okay riding a boomer bust Kittle.
So, and then I would say one more thing is he has 3 quarterbacks right now. He has Burrow.
I don't think he's gonna hold on to all 3 quarterbacks. I think I would hope Daniel's smart enough to drop Trevor Lawrence, maybe look to trade possibly Kyler Murray and hold on to Burrow. That's personally what I would do. I mean, obviously doesn't have to do what I do, doesn't have to listen to all my advice exactly, but that's personally what I would do and what I would suggest. If you feel Kyler Murray is going to come back and be phenomenal and you want to trade Joe Burrow, go for it. All right, but that'll be it for this week 9 recap. Congrats on your win, Daniel, and better luck next week, Johnson. But we'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.